Hello, once again, distinguished investors. Welcome to my channel again. My name is Lucky, and it's a pleasure having you over and over and over again on my channel. All right, today I want us to talk about 12 mistakes you should avoid when you want to buy land or any real estate property. 12 mistakes anybody, including you, should avoid you want to buy real estate property. Number one mistake is the mistake of purpose. Mistake of purpose. When you want to buy a real estate property, you should clearly define the purpose. Don't make the mistake of just buying a land for buying of land's sake without any purpose in mind. You do not have any purpose identified or specified in mind. It's a very big mistake. You should not do that. So you should ask yourself, for what purpose am I buying this land? Am I buying it for residential purpose? Am I buying it for commercial purpose? Am I buying it to resell it? How many years would I want to hold it before resale? So do not make mistake of identifying a purpose for yourself for buying a property. Okay. The number two mistake is the mistake of budget. Many persons do not budget before they go into buying a landed property. Do not join the bandwagon. Do not make that mistake. Have a budget for any property, any land you want to buy. So don't make the mistake of budget. How much am I budgeting for this land is a question you should ask yourself. Okay, like you cannot carry a budget for a property. Maybe your budget is for a property in a location we call Abara Eche in Port Harcourt here in the River State. Okay, you cannot carry such budget to go to look for a property in Ekpe in Lagos. Okay, so you have to clearly define your budget so you don't waste time. When you have clearly defined your budget, it also helps you to make your decisions very fast. All right, the other mistake you should not make, that's number three. It's actually mistake of location. Many persons do not clearly define the location where they want their property to be situated. They just say, land the day here, you rush and go and then buy. At the end of the day, you realize that this actually wasn't the adequate or the main location where you would have wanted. So clearly define a location. State, okay, I want to have a property in Port Harcourt. Like I have a client who says I must have a property in Port Harcourt. He's not resident in Port Harcourt, but he has said he wants a property in Port Harcourt. And I guess he must have also identified the purpose for which he wants those property. So do not make mistake of location. All right, sourcing. Number five. Okay, number four rather, sourcing. Do not make the mistake of sourcing. So what do we mean? You should ask the right questions. Whom do I source this land from? Do I have a reputable real estate developer? Do I have a reputable real estate consultant like us, of course? Do I have a reputable the other mistake you should avoid is the mistake of due diligence. Mistake of due diligence. So what is due diligence? Asking the right questions. That's the simplest form. Due diligence is asking the right questions. So do not make mistake of doing due diligence. Who truly owns this property? If you're buying from the fifth generation, ask who was the first generation, who was the second, who was the third, and who was the fourth, and now you. That is due diligence. What title does this property have? That is due diligence. From due diligence, you'll be able to understand how to do your pricing. Okay, so do not make the mistake of due diligence. It is very, very important. The other one is the mistake of negotiation. Negotiation is actually a skill, but you have to learn it if you must play, if you must be a part of the real estate industry. You must not make the mistake of negotiation. Negotiate every property you want to buy. Find out what is up for grabs for you. If you make this mistake, you may regret it. For example, you're going to buy a waterfront, a swampy area, and the likes. It will cost you some extra funds to do filling and all that. So those are the things you're supposed to factor in when you're negotiating. Once you are told, the price of this property is like this, and then factor in what extra cost it will take you to bring it up to standard of what you want. That is negotiation. So do not make the mistake of not negotiating any property you want to buy. The other mistake you should avoid is the mistake of buying too expensive. If you buy a property that is too expensive, you would outshoot your budget. Okay, you would outshoot your budget. So do not buy too expensive property, especially if you're a first-time investor, beginner, and the likes. Do not buy a property that is too expensive. The other mistake is the mistake of possession. Many persons buy property and fail to come possess the land. All right. So by the time they will come back, maybe 10, 15 years down the line, you see a skyscraper on your land. So do not make that mistake. The moment you have completed your payment and have taken documents for that property, possess it. Find something and place on that land. That way you have possessed it. It is very, very important to possess. So when you're making plans to buy a property, you should factor in a budget for possessing your property, your land. Okay. Now the other mistake you should avoid is the mistake of documentation. Ensure that the persons, the developer, the contractor, or the consultant you are dealing with will be able to facilitate your documentation as quickly as possible. Get receipts for every payment you have made. Do not make mistake of making payment and you do not demand or ask for your receipts. For us, the moment you make any deposit is what we call receipt of payment. Okay, we acknowledge that you have made this deposit. Okay, and then we also have a contract of sales for persons who have different instrumental payment plans with us. All right, the other mistake is mistake of occupation. Make sure you send somebody to stand, plant, or occupy the place for you in case you're not around. For some clients who are overseas, who are outside the country, sometimes we'll hear news of some persons returning and then the property they spent so much money to acquire is no longer there. So in that situation, how do you avert it? When you acquire such a land, find somebody to occupy it for you. Perhaps put maybe whatever you need to do to occupy it. Take possession. That's what we mean. You can send container, you can send whatever, send wood, send whatever, anything you can send people to go and occupy it on your behalf. All right. Now the other mistake persons avoid is mistake of community. You have to treat the community where your property is as part of the owners of your property, as stakeholders with you. So do not make mistake of delineating the community and then avoid them. Of course, when you're in a difficult situation, nobody might want to come to your aid. All right. The last mistake people make is the mistake of reselling. Do not get too emotional with your property. If it's a property you have from onset, you have proposed that you would resell it, don't get so emotional about it. If you have bought it to make money, you need to use it to make more money. Resell it at the appropriate time. Do not get so attached. Real estate is actually an investment, and then it deals with numbers. The more money, the more resell, the more times, the more property you have, the better for you. So that will be all for now. Thank you so much for sticking to this channel. And then if you like what you have just learned, kindly subscribe to this channel and then hit the bell icon to stay tuned. Thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.